Yeah, we're ready? Okay.
Bam!
Bam!
Bam.
Welcome to another episode of BAM. What's it called?
What's what called?
Broadcast Millionaire.
Broadcast Millionaire.
Yeah.
A warning would have been good.
Yeah. Today we're going to discuss a couple of different items, and one of them is going to be a little bit of shit talking about our standing government with their new
That's
policies.
my boy. Be careful.
Yeah. That's okay. You can have your affiliations on the political side.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, do we agree with some of the policies that they're coming out?
No. No, I don't.
Not in general, or just certain
General
policies?
at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not really happy.
It's really an election
You
game.
know, I actually don't even vote. Like, I've never really voted before.
Okay, that's not really good, because as
Yeah.
part of
No,
being
but
a
listen.
citizen.
Now, I'm going to vote just to vote against Trudeau.
Yeah,
Not joking.
I have not met somebody in the past 2 months that said I'm voting for him. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
but
doing my
people lie,
own polls.
boy.
Yeah, people do lie. You're not wrong.
Because
people-
could you imagine being like a Trump fan and
Yeah.
like
Trump
I mean,
fans,
some people
Trump
are
fans
proud
are
of
the
it.
loudest people in the
proud of it.
world.
No, but I mean like a not the average Trump fan,
Yeah,
but you're voting for Trump,
Yeah.
but like your whole family,
like a
would,
New
hate
Yorker
you.
saying I'm going to vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Well, people
Crazy.
just don't want the smoke for their political affiliations, right?
Yeah.
They just don't want to get into it with somebody. But
Yeah, but we're going to get into it a little bit today because I don't like, and I know Elliott doesn't like the policies that they've come up with as a pre-budget campaign.
yeah,
And so we're going to talk about Trudeau. We're going to talk about his boy Pierre, and
That's my boy.
we should have them on the show.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Let's get him
Could
on
you
the
imagine?
podcast.
we should
Broadcast
have Pierre.
millionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll censor us real quick.
How'd you guys get shut down?
wow.
They're gonna say, "How do you guys even have a platform?"
Yeah. What the hell?
should be just done.
Delete. So a couple of things that we want to discuss is affordability in general. There's a lot of talk about that in the market, and we should probably talk about the spring market.
Yeah, let's
and
maybe start there.
You want to do that?
Let's
Okay.
talk about
Take
kind
the
of what
lead
we
there,
see going
Captain.
on. Sorry,
Take the lead there, Captain.
fucking right, I will.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't tempt me with a
Yeah.
good time, my boy.
You should say I'm the captain now, and then
Well,
Jowad's gonna put
You
it.
stole my thunder. You stole my thunder. I was gonna do it.
Yeah.
It was brewing.
I hope he puts like a thunder and lightning bolt over your head.
No, it goes from there to here. Yeah.
whatever.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, let's bring it through.
I think because talking about the spring market kind of, or the market right now, what's happening, I think that will kind of be a good base for the conversation moving forward
Cool.
in terms of
Affordability
affordability and all
and the bullshit that Trudeau's pulling.
that. Yo, you want a target on your back, my boy.
Honestly,
see
like I'm not a very political person, but when it comes to property rights, when it comes to tenant rights, when it comes to the
Bro,
bullshit
if you just
around,
want to say fuck
affordability.
Trudeau, it's okay. You
No,
can do that.
no, I don't. You said
Everybody
it.
else is saying
There's a slogan behind it. I just, anyways, let's not
Yeah,
get.
yeah,
let's do
let's go.
spring.
Let's-
Let's
yeah.
do spring.
Okay, so I think spring market, I mean, we've been saying it for months and months. We said it in the fall last year. I think we said it all through Christmas that now is the time to buy because you'll be in a good position when the rate does come down.
Yeah.
I think I swear New Year's Eve was like a light switch. Like from no volume in December, even November.
Yeah.
I say no volume. Obviously, transactions happen, but in general,
Pretty
no
low.
volume.
lack of volume.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve hit. I swear, I woke up with the biggest hangover with my phone ringing. I didn't set an alarm. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm sleeping in." You know, I was partying that night.
Yeah.
Wake up not to an alarm, but to my phone ringing. People trying to do real estate.
Yeah.
It was like a light switch, and I think that the last 3 months has been like that. It's been pretty busy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you guys feel the
Definitely more
same?
action going on.
Yeah. And I think that now what was happening is I think that with the anticipation of rates coming down, people were getting a bit excited. Obviously, naturally, the spring market's busier anyway. Winter's over, holidays over. People, they want to move in this time of year. Like the winter is naturally quieter anyways because it's annoying as fuck to move during the winter. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's just an added headache to the whole situation. But on top of that natural increase in volume, I think that with the anticipation of rates coming down, mixed with just being used to what the rates are, we saw the fixed rates come down in December and January. So I think that motivated some people. Now I think it's going to be relatively steady because I think that some of the other people that would have got in are just going to say, okay, well,
I'm just waiting.
I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But those guys have been waiting.
Yeah, I agree. And then they're going to wait, and
Yeah.
I think it's going to be to their detriment. But that being said, I feel like there's a large portion of the market that is on the sideline waiting, whether that's they don't want to pay high interest or they can't afford what they want to afford because of the high interest and the the stress tests and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think those people are waiting. And in knowing that, personally, sellers are going to hate me. People that want to get in are going to hate me. But I think that I don't want them to lower interest rates until like after summer. And
why after summer and not before?
Because I think that you're going to have a natural flow of people buy in the spring no matter what, whether the interest rate comes down.
And I think we could agree that a lot of people do think that it's a good time to buy. Even though rates haven't fully come down, they're on the way down. So I think some people that are smart enough are going, it's on the way.
Well, the prices are down right now too, right? So that's the benefit we always
You mean they just haven't gone up? Because they've been down 2
Yeah, they
years
have been
now.
down. Yeah,
This
no,
is
they
like the
have-
norm
they
now.
have been down.
Yeah.
But
well, we're sitting at 2021 prices on average.
Yeah.
On average,
We
right?
eliminated 2022. 2022 did not exist.
In terms of pricing.
Prices.
Yeah,
I
100%
it's gone.
Agree.
Right?
And you see that even from we say we're using all these numbers like an average, right? But I think that when you look deeper into like Barhaven, Canada versus downtown versus the Greeley, like downtown didn't boom as much as the suburbs, but then the suburbs took the bigger hit on the way down. So that average is very applicable.
Yeah.
Because it is a
2021.
true average. It's not
2021 is a good number.
Yeah, exactly.
In most neighborhoods,
whether you're looking at a condo, whether you're looking at a single family, whether you're looking at a townhouse, whatever the case is, it's really a great way to look at it. And in knowing that people are waiting for the interest rates to come down, we've been saying it all winter. We've been saying it like people got to be sick of hearing it at this point. Yeah, but
they're sick of you. Yeah, really.
Yeah, well, it happens. But what can we do, right? Like,
I don't think they're sick of you, Elliott.
Well,
I think I know who they are sick.
I can't get enough of me, honestly. But I think that taking advantage of knowing that it's down and the fixed rate are in a better place than they were in the winter.
Listen, at the end of the day, people also need to realize that the rates are never going to go down to what they once were either.
Yeah.
Our norms are going to be in that 4 to 5%.
Well, CIBC just a couple of days ago, they said, their chief economist said, in order for the economy stalling, in order for it to bounce back from now till end of 2025, we got to drop by 2%.
Okay.
That's good.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
2%.
But I think they need to do it slowly.
They need to do it slowly.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Yeah. Slow and steady. But people will know that it's on the way down. So they're going to go for variable.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to ride the wave.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't know anybody that's going variable. Most people, I know a couple, but most people are doing fixed 3 years.
Yeah.
Because it'll average out.
It'll average out because you'll win the first year.
Yep.
Right? Break even the second.
Yeah.
And the third year, you can renew probably most banks, you can renew at 6 months. So then they're just taking the L on that 6 months to have the consistency.
Let me ask you guys something, though. We're talking about the rates going down summer after summer. With what just happened April 1st with the carbon tax increase of 23%.
That was an April Fool's joke.
I wish. I wish. The person who put it in place is a fool, but my whole point is, but do we really think the rates are going to come down? Because now I feel like inflation is naturally going to go back up, and then they're going to be like, well, we're not going to be able to lower the rates. Inflation has to come down. So what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's a very good question. Actually, that's a very difficult question because it's not just carbon tax. Technically, should be a net loss. Okay, net zero sum game, I should say. What that means is what they're collecting, they take a small skim off the top for administration purposes, but then they pay back out to the population.
Yeah.
So if they collect 150 from you and $50 from him, they'll give you each $100. So he wins 50, you lose 50.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing with carbon tax. So the guy that's not spending a lot of money on gasoline, let's say, as in one example, or heating fuel, whatever it is, plastics, he's gonna save, like he's gonna end up getting more money where you're gonna lose money. Okay.
Yeah.
So with our pool, for instance, I'm losing a shit ton of money.
Yeah, of course.
Like ton, right?
Yeah.
You don't heat your pool, right?
Of course I do.
Here, you see, now summer's coming back. He's bringing up the
He's bringing up the
yeah,
pool.
it's
Because
good
he wants people to
timing.
see him again.
Good time. Buy with
wants
me, get a
friends.
swim for free. That's what we say. that's our
You
new
might,
slogan.
you might be
value add. I
deterring
love
a
it.
few people actually with that one.
Yeah.
That's so
I've tried to avoid it swimming at your house as much as possible. So.
Because you can't swim, he floats. So that's carbon tax, okay? But what
Yeah.
effectively it does, which to your point, Elliott now has got $50 extra in his pocket, though you have less.
Yeah.
He's got more, so he's going to go and spend that $50 on a new product or whatnot.
Okay.
It might be ecological, it might be green, it might be something, but he's spending more, creating a higher demand for that product because he's got residual income. But that alone cannot contribute significantly to the inflation unless we have a ton of demand for products. And the way that the demand is happening is through immigration. But the immigrants and the existing Canadians are not spending nearly as much as they once were. We're spending at 2017 levels on a per capita basis. That means per person.
Yeah.
We're spending what we were spending.
So if we don't know what per capita means.
Yeah, but to
I
be
know,
fair, the
I know.
audience.
Yeah, a
might
lot of
not
He
people
just
know.
looked at us when he said it.
I looked at you, really.
I know.
Don't
I know
say
you
us.
did. I know you did.
No,
I just
don't
was
say
trying not
us.
to point attention to it.
Yeah,
Fucking
Jacob's
guy.
like, I don't know. So we're spending at 2017 levels. It could, like, from an economy standpoint, we're growing at as if we're just at 2017. It means we eradicated, how many years is that? 7 years. Our economy has not grown for 7 years as a result. Yet we keep talking about this inflation thing.
Yeah.
All we're
but
doing,
not in terms of like the actual GDP.
no, but
like
GDP per person
per person
is down, but GDP
In total,
Canada-wide is up.
yeah,
But it's only up because we've added more people.
yeah.
So existing Canadians and the new Canadians are all spending, call it like 80% of what we were spending before.
Yeah.
But because we have more people in the country, it's looking like we're flat.
But do you think we're
going up a
spending
little bit.
80% of what we were spending, but on less goods than what we're spending on pool 4 because the price of goods has gone up? Because that's where I'm kind of rationalizing it.
You're absolutely right.
Is that the carbon tax is affecting gas, but that's also affecting transport, which is going to affect the cost of all goods across the board.
But the inflation is what you're saying. The inflation has gone up because more people are buying the same products.
Okay.
So we have way more, like the last year we added 1.2 million people. So 1.2 million people more, and we sold the same number of products. So
Yeah.
obviously our price, like every store is going to be like, well, I have more demand.
Yeah.
I'm going to increase my price.
Yeah.
Right. But why isn't that the store isn't buying more product? That's really what's happening.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
like
why
you
our
have
buying
100
GDP
units of inventory.
And
They're
he's
not
staying-
buying 120 now.
He's not
Yeah,
buying
they're
one
keeping the
120.
same inventory
Yeah.
and just charging more for
But
it.
that's why our productivity is down. We're staying at the 100, even though we need 120.
Yeah.
And then Bank of Canada, like a week or so ago, comes out and says, why aren't corporations investing in their machinery and in intellectual property? Like, because nobody's fucking buying shit, bro. Because
Yeah.
you like jacked up the prices, and
Yeah.
all they could do is pay up rent or
Yeah.
mortgage. That's it. That's
Like
all
people
they
are
could
in
pay.
such a tight position.
No,
like,
yeah.
it's
like
100%.
Elliott and I were having a conversation today.
it's
without you.
rare. It's
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah, it's rare. Yeah. But you could book me for 15 minutes on Google.
This guy's crazy.
And what we're seeing with certain clients with the increase in interest rate is that they've held on for those 2 years now of, the agonizing rate increase after rate increase, hoping that, I made the right call and I'm going to hold on to my property and whatnot. But they see the light at the end of the tunnel. But some of them just can't hold on. Like they're at the edge, and some of them are letting go. It's quite unfortunate, and they're hardworking individuals, and it's the middle class that's getting hurt.
Yeah.
It's the people that have like what should be a good pay, like
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you hear,
what used to be a good pay is no longer a good pay
exactly.
anymore.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. But like what should be a good pay are the people being squeezed out, even though they understand that it's right there.
it's right there. It's like
Yeah,
the
there's just
edge.
only so much longer you can hold on before
Yeah,
you've lost
because
everything.
like
so.
you're like because imagine you're for the last 2 years you're taking a little hit every month.
Yeah.
You can sustain that,
Yeah.
no problem. But now you're 2 years, you're taking like like your savings is dwindling by let's
Little hits
call it
added up.
2% a month. Call
Yeah.
it 2% a month. You have to overspend just because what you make, which we've already said it should be a good pay,
Mhm.
but what you make is not enough to cover all the things that you need, food, because all of these things have gone up in price.
It's nuts,
Yeah.
man.
And you
Like-
just can't make it even though it's right there.
You know, I suggest you go and walk into a bank. Okay, walk into a bank and talk to a small business advisor. Just go talk to them and just say, "Hey, what are you working on these days? Are you working on acquisitions? What type of lending is the bank doing these days?
Yeah.
Just have
What
like
kind of business are you doing?
yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll see, man. A lot of it is trying to fix operations, cash flow issues. Like people are not thinking about investing when it comes to that stuff because you're squeezing the markets.
Yeah.
You know, every small business they're working, man. Like how many businesses do you know that are working on like a 10, maybe 15% margin? It's tight. That means you miss 1 month, you're done. You're done
Yeah.
for the year.
Yeah.
You miss
Break
1 month
even.
of sales, you're done. You're break even for the year. The second month, you're in the loss.
Yeah.
Right. So if that's the case, like they're so fragile, and yet they require the high volume, and we're not. What is the government doing to support those people? All they're doing is that they're just coming up with these fucking anecdotes of, oh, I know Jim that got evicted for keys or cash for keys, whatever they're calling it now, and as a result, we need a new legislation. Like, get out of here, man. Tenants are protected in Canada more than any other, like, okay, not more than any other country, like France, Germany, California, like they have high, strict rules, but we're quite protected.
California is not a country.
Sorry. I was reading an article.
You know what?
about-
That actually went over my head
Wow.
too.
California is not a country.
Yeah.
For clarification, California is not a country. For those of you that's like Googling it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm just like I'm
No,
very
but I get what you're
frustrated.
saying because right now we have a housing crisis and they're making it harder for somebody to want to become a landlord right now with this new legislation that they're talking about putting in.
Wait, do we have a housing crisis? Like do we?
I mean, that's what we're being told.
Or enough?
statistically.
Yeah, but maybe enough people are not bunking together.
Well,
You know, like, you know how many condos in Ottawa that say, "Oh, only single family dwelling."
yeah.
Okay. And my clients will get notes. I don't know if you've ever gotten this, okay? But your clients will get a note if 2 or more individuals live in a house and they're not related parties.
In a house or in a condo? you
In
mean?
a condo,
condo, yeah.
like some sort of condo, like house or
Yeah.
apartment or something
Yeah.
like that. Though some condo boards actually go and issue notices saying
Yeah.
that you're not
allowed.
related parties. I think it's like 3 or more. It might be 3 or more individuals. So if like you have a townhouse condo and like 3 people are like students or something like that, they're like, oh, you're not allowed to do this.
Yeah.
Even though they have one lease or
I
they're-
haven't run into that. Why?
Oh, yeah.
Why
I
is
haven't
that?
run into.
'Cause
I've heard actually. I've
their
heard it from
bylaws
Omar.
single family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And single families, like they're trying to define it as like a mom, dad, siblings, cousins,
Yeah, yeah.
something like that. I think it's the stupidest rule.
2024. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so how do you define anything? It's
Yeah,
absolutely right.
exactly.
You can't define anything.
I'm gonna
I
just
like-
identify as that.
Yeah.
There's 4 bedrooms. I get to have 4 people. What the hell is your problem? I can have 6 people if I want to.
Yeah.
Like, why is there a cap?
I mean, I've had that issue not because there was a bylaw, but just because the landlord didn't want multiple people living in there that weren't related. They
yeah.
actually were related, but they weren't blood related. And there's like stepsisters, so on and so forth, or half sisters,
Mm.
and they're all working.
But why do people
lawyers,
care?
stuff like that, and they got rejected. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I remember.
Yeah,
that.
but they get
stupidest
they
thing
get,
I've ever
but
heard.
they get rejected because of like, okay, so you have 3 people that are unrelated
Yeah.
to the landlord. Like, once you're in, you can't get
It's a
them
risk.
out, right? So
Yeah.
it's added risk. Not only are you qualifying this family, but now I have to qualify 3 separate parties
Yeah.
for one dwelling.
So what?
So if you
Like-
decide that you don't want to be there anymore, then that leaves a hole. Now
No,
you have to-
my
then-
lease is with all 3 of you.
Yeah,
So
all 3 are on the lease. So all
if
3
you
want to
replace the guy, yeah, if you want to replace the guy, that's your freaking
guess so.
problem. You gotta
Yeah.
come back, take my permission to replace them, or we scratch that lease. We get a new one.
Yeah, but in the event of doing that, it doesn't always work like that.
No,
So
listen,
that
it's-
was
there's a risk, 100%.
yeah.
Which, to Omar's point, that tenants are way more protected here than in anywhere. Well, not anywhere else. With California, for
California
example,
as a country. New York.
But it's true. It's hard to get rid of someone, and all the talk in the media right now is shitty landlords. But really, there's just as many shitty tenants that are hurting the landlords right now.
Like, I understand, like, they don't want people to be homeless.
No,
like,
of course
I get
not.
it.
Nobody wants that.
But you're villainizing the landlord for someone that could be just knowing the rules, and there's like a term, professional tenant.
Yeah.
Like those people take advantage, and I get it. Most people are just trying to live somewhere, and there'll be an okay tenant, and nothing will happen. It'll be fine. But the same way that some landlords are terrible and will leave shit broken for the tenant, is the same thing that tenants are doing. So why is it so much in the tenant's favor?
Well, that's the
when
thing.
it goes both ways.
But that's why I don't get. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, this guy, like Trudeau's like saying, oh, we're gonna do, the
Bill of Rights.
The Bill of Rights for tenants, the Charter of Rights.
Yeah.
So the way he's going to get about that is to put in the Mortgage Act. So Mortgage Act allows the bank to report non-payment and then proceed with like power of sale and all that stuff, right? So he wants to add in that act that landlords are mandated to report payment to the benefit of the tenant who pays on time.
Yeah.
Right now, if a tenant doesn't pay on time, you have to go to the tenant and landlord board or landlord and tenant board and apply for eviction. And once you apply for the eviction and the court rules that, yes, the tenant didn't pay, then you could go and actually
negatively impact
their credit. Okay?
I think that's a good idea, though, in the sense of it goes both ways.
But can you negatively impact their credit right now?
I don't know. I thought you can, but apparently, like on Reddit, it says you can. It's not a very defined answer, but it is a debt payment.
Yeah.
That you have to that you should report.
I think if you're a good tenant,
I think you should be able
go
to
towards your credit.
Okay, but
I don't disagree. You definitely should
way.
be able to put it towards good credit. If they're paying on time, let it reflect. But if they're not, then that should also reflect.
Exactly.
And just like they want a charter of rights for tenants, I think we should have something that's also in favor of the landlord. Just keep the playing field even. Because right now it's an uneven playing field. And I get it. People are going to say, oh, landlords are this and landlords are that. And there are some shitty landlords out there.
Yeah. You should have a very expedited service from the government for two things.
Even if, I think we've said this before on an episode, even if the landlord had to pay into something that would speed the process up, that expense would be more than welcomed.
For sure.
Yeah, you're making.
I mean, I don't know that would be more than welcome, but like,
for sure.
I wouldn't be as pissed off about it. But
listen,
I'd ask that we all get licensed. You want to be a landlord? Get licensed.
Yeah.
Take a course.
Yeah. That way, somebody doesn't pay by the end of the month. You could have it dealt with.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
then it's fair.
Or the end of the second month. Like if you need 2 in a row for it to count, sure, by all means. But literally, if you miss March 1st and then April 1st, on April 2nd, you're out of my house.
Yeah.
It has to be something like that.
It has to.
Yeah, it has to be. Like, so I like the pay like for a license, extra education, which they probably should do for realtors, mortgage brokers, insurance brokers. All these industries are just a few. People. Yeah. Studio producers, like, you know what I mean? Like, all those people.
Everyone needs a damn license.
Everybody needs it. Everybody needs more education.
Everyone just needs more control, being more controlled.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It should be an expedited service for maintenance, right? Like anything that's health and safety related. It has to be like, so within a week or so, if the landlord did not deal with the health and safety matter, the tenant should apply to the board. Like that should be, and the second thing is if the tenant didn't pay, then the landlord has that right as well. And then within like 2 weeks or a month or something, everything is settled. Knowing that, I think everybody would fucking follow the rules.
100%.
Right now, if the landlord's like, oh, I didn't fix that balcony, take me to court. It'll be 9 months and then I'll fix it then. The fuck?
Both ways.
Yeah. So then
tenant.
So then this guy gets to like, he's spending his time in the apartment. He can't even use the balcony. Oh, it wasn't
pay for it.
But he's paying for it.
Paying for it.
And then vice versa.
And I think even like having it in having such a slow process and like having it so far in the tenant's favor, I think that also.
No, we don't. Why are you saying it's in the tenant's favor? because it's 9 months only for the non-payment, but for the maintenance, it's
No. I
in
mean,
the-
in general, like
Yeah.
like if a tenant, yeah, for sure,
it's
it
both
goes
ways.
both ways.
Yeah.
But typically, like the tenant for non-payment, for example, gets the advantage. You basically are
Yeah.
going to end up living there for 8-9 months rent free, and then at the end of it, you're going to go after them in small claims court. They're going to claim bankruptcy. You'll never get your money, and they never paid rent, and they're going to go find.
Yeah,
someone else
so
to
the
live.
system goes, okay, well, they're going bankrupt and they can't do anything else, but you're the one that took the L.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the problem,
Because
right?
as the landlord,
Yeah.
you're not recovering your money. Then you're going to go in there. I know a lady.
And you're not big. Like, you're a fucking...
Yeah, you're just
you
the
own
one
what?
person.
One townhouse?
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
condo?
Yeah, literally. Like
Yeah.
I know a lady literally took her 13 months to get them out, then go in $30K in damages.
Yeah, I've had that.
Never got a dollar
No,
back.
yeah.
Anyways.
You know what irks me too is like you'll see stories about this on social media, and you'll go into the comments and people are like, "Well, it's a business. They want to be a landlord. That's what they have to deal with."
100%.
I'm like, okay, but like
Then them
again, it goes both ways. Everybody just wants to shit on one.
go closer.
Wants to shit on one end. Don't touch me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like everyone wants to shit on landlords
Yeah.
constantly, and
but they're
doesn't
giving
see that
you a
there's
place
two
to
sides
live
of
at
the
the end of the
spectrum.
day.
They are, and let's be real. At the end of the day, if landlords weren't purchasing properties as rentals, who would be controlling the housing? Where would we be getting rentals from?
Corporations who give less
Or even
less
more
of a
heartless.
fuck about you than
Yeah.
the person.
That's
the
the
person.
thing. But right now, the banks are... Like, OSFI's coming out with a maximum number of houses that you could buy.
Yeah.
A maximum...
Was it 5 per person kind of
The
thing?
5, chartered bank level.
But that's just under residential. You can then get financing through commercial side, but then it's higher interest rate, blah, blah, blah.
But to get commercial for residential, usually the numbers have to be higher.
I see.
So it kind of works out that you're actually buying commercial property, not residential property.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're essentially doing is capping the small time landlord. If you're looking to acquire numerous properties and to get rich through that process, they're gonna make it very, very hard for you. So lending, and then all these new rules are coming in on the government side for like tenant protection and landlord protection. But it's really...
There's
You
got to
know.
be a loophole though, right?
There's always gonna be...
Like there's a way around that. Oh, you can get 5 in your personal name. Okay, if I open a corp, does that now mean that I can get 5 in that?
Sure.
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
well, yeah, but then that's commercial financing.
Anyways.
Yeah. Because
Like even as a holdco.
Holdco, but Holdco could be either way. It could be on residential lending or it could be commercial lending.
I see.
Commercial lending just means it's a different way of underwriting the product or the purchase versus residential lending, really income heavy on you. So whether you put it under a company name or not, you're still signing the mortgage. Whereas the commercial side, you may not actually sign the mortgage.
Yeah. Okay.
They use your company assets, they use you as a whole person, as a whole entity, but you may not actually sign for anything physically, like personally. You might just
And they're looking more at if the property can sustain itself financially.
that's
rather
mainly
than are you going to be able to sustain it, right? Because if you're buying the residential,
DCR,
exactly.
debt coverage ratio, for those of you that's wondering. We just went a little
It's
bit
like a dictionary, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
You're
you
just
got
the
that
first
right.
part of that.
I just wanted to boost it, you know. But with all these things in play, I think that it also affects affordability in the sense of like when people aren't moving around and stuff, the price of even just rent, like the price of homes is high.
Yeah.
So the landlord has to charge a high price to cover their expenses. And at the end of the day, in Ottawa particularly, most of the time you're taking an L month to month just to let somebody live in your property.
Yeah, the landlord subsidizes the rents. I don't
Yeah.
think people know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
$3,000 mortgage or
Plus property
taxes, everything.
Yeah.
But you're charging for a townhouse, let's say. Okay, Barhaven townhouse.
2,600, 28.
26, 27. Yeah.
26 to 28.
Yeah.
So your mortgage, property taxes
Yep.
are 3,200.
Yeah.
Minimum.
You're in
So
the hole.
you're $500 in the hole every month for this person to live in your property just to turn around and not pay rent and then take 8, 9 months
And
just to
destroy
get
the
to
That's
share
what I
of the
mean.
property.
So
Bro, you're done.
So how does that make sense? Like, what the government vilifying small landlords, like big corporations, bro? Like, it is a business. Okay,
Yeah.
they got a ton of money.
They don't give a shit about
They already
you.
put a little number in their calculation that says bad debt, no rent from X amount of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
They already know that, and then they'll come after you because they got the guns, they got the fucking lawyers, they got the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
and they probably have an in behind the court and be like, yo, process this shit quick. They're flooding the court with 100 applications.
they gotta pay off. They gotta pay them off fund.
Yeah, like they probably know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like it's just a different system, right?
Or because they're doing such big volume that they're dealing with the same people all the time. So it's just like, okay, let me move this one forward.
Exactly. But look, man, if you have 100 applications in there, they'll probably say, okay, this guy's got 100 applications. Let's just, run through them. Yeah, let's run through all of them, I'm sure
efficiency, that makes sense to me.
Plus each vacancy isn't as big of a burden on bigger corporations, right? Because they've got multiple units.
More doors you have, the less
they're already in the cash flow position and whatnot, right?
Exactly. Whereas for just your average person who's just trying to, have a couple rental properties, things like that.
But if you're okay, so we're in an affordability crisis, quote unquote. If the landlord's paying out of pocket $200 to $500, most properties that we buy with investors these days, you'd say it's around that range, right? $200 to $500 out of pocket. If that's the case, then the tenant would have paid that as well. Had they bought a house, had they had the down payment, they had the good credit, all that stuff. This allows them to save that few $100 per month to put it towards the down payment so they could get into the housing stock. The counter argument to that is that these small landlords are buying 1-2 properties that could have been bought by somebody that just wants to move in and live there. Hence why they're vilifying the landlords and saying, oh, these 20% purchase, like these purchasers account for 20%, the investors, and therefore they're taking 20% out of the market, and those could have been 20% of properties that are available for competition at a reduced price because now you have less demand on them. But on the other side, you don't have enough housing for rental purposes, and not enough people could qualify given the interest rates and given the inflation and given just everything that you find.
Like, it's not super easy to buy a house. Like, you gotta have a nice chunk of change, and like if you're if you're a young person that just started their career, it's going to take you a couple of years before you're in a position where A, you can qualify, and B, you have enough money in your pocket to go put a down payment. If you're going to do some rentals in the place, you need cash for that. Like it's not something that, okay, I just got out of uni, I now get paid, call it, even if you make a salary of 120 grand, like that's a great salary.
You can't buy a townhouse.
You can't.
No.
And for you to get to the position where you have enough to put a down payment on a townhouse,
that would have gotten you like a single house. If you were that high in terms of 120, first of all, 120 out of uni, bro, that's pretty dope.
That'd be amazing. I don't know who's making 120 grand outside of university.
Maybe they graduated from Telford School of Management at the University of Ottawa. What? But it's not what? Carlton?
Yeah, Professor Omar.
So I just find it weird, like the way that they're attacking these things. So the stat for them is 20% of purchases are by people who own more than one house. But in that stat also are people that are buying cottages and properties for their kids. Right?
Yeah.
And co-signing and all this shit. So I bet you that number of actual real mom and pop shop, real like investors is a very, very small number of people. Because we know that 1% of the population owns 4 properties or more, and 10% owns 3 or more. Right? But like 20% owns 2 or more. And 2 is like tends to be tons of, like, you probably know a bunch of people that own cottages.
Yeah.
So they're in that 20%. It doesn't make sense.
I'm an immigrant, bro. We don't own cottages.
No, I was looking at Elliott. Wow. Like we know some people.
Yeah.
Like a 1-2.
We've heard of them. We've never been to their cottage.
It's like a legend.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to a cottage? It's crazy out there.
Is it? Yeah. But it's like 10 minutes away. Like
I've only ever rented because, like, so many people are buying up cottages that I can't afford to buy a cottage.
So that's what happened. Yeah. So we keep talking about affordability, okay, and affordability crisis, and the so-called maybe we're in an affordability crisis.
I have a question. What's the benefit
of what?
Of them coming after the small guy?
They're just trying to get, okay, right now it's anything to get elected.
Okay.
Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, right. I don't think anything that's going on or being said or being done right now has anything to do with helping Canadians. It just has to do with swaying voters in one direction or the other.
They're positioning it like, okay, so in
let me
in that example though, you're saying that most people already have this thought. So by them leaning into it, like most people already hate landlords. I don't understand.
No, most people hate Trudeau.
Okay. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to get certain groups of people to start liking him. So now he's advocating for certain groups so that those groups will be like, oh, wow, this guy's doing something for us. We're going to vote for him in the next election.
So he's saying millennials are renting more than ever.
Okay.
Why? Because we know that prices are going up or have gone up in relation to the income that they're making.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that means that they have to stay at home longer, like with their parents longer.
Yeah.
So they can't, or they're renting for longer periods of
Or
time.
they can
Like,
buy it with someone.
yeah, like in
go on.
Toronto, it's in the 30s.
Yeah.
In Ottawa, it's late 20s or something like
Yep.
that. So, but he's going after that vote. But really, all it is that his polls are down, and he's just trying to go after those people,
Yeah.
like Rabieh was saying, and just to
Yeah, but
try
most
and
of the time with like these guys, man, like they make these promises and then it never actually like happens,
Okay,
right?
that's exactly what I was going to cut you off earlier to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Federal government has no jurisdiction on a few things. Okay, housing,
Yeah.
education, health. They only have it at the national level, and they could give.
So if they implement it, it has to be implemented
It
to everybody.
Exactly. Guess
Yeah.
what Doug Ford said?
Yeah.
He said,
Sucker.
"This is jurisdictional creep. This is my territory. Don't fuck it.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with it.
Don't
It's
make
like,
rules over here. You
Yeah,
don't.
don't. Like, what
You
are you
can't.
doing? Exactly. And how are you gonna apply
He's
rules
just,
here?
yeah, he's just throwing shit out there just to get people excited. And
That's a
people-
crazy one.
Yeah.
Yo, I actually
We're
think.
actually-
Well, because the
exposing
thing is,
government,
if you
right?
think about it right now, like if we're gonna
I know we
report,
are.
if rent is gonna count towards people's credit, then as a landlord, we're gonna have to submit whatever paperwork is required for them to track it. Are you saying every single landlord is gonna properly do that on time?
I hope so.
You know what I mean? You need, but that's the whole point. Is they're implementing rules. They're talking about wanting to put in rules, but how are you going to actually implement and police and make sure that it's getting done properly?
Yeah,
Are there going to be costs associated with these landlords to now have to subscribe
exactly.
to these banks or whatever you have to subscribe to show that these people are paying or not paying? And what's the cost going to be to them? Can they afford it?
Or
And so now are you deterring more people from becoming landlords because they can't or don't want to do this? And now the high housing crisis is all over again because now we have even less rentals, but prices are still high up because how far down is the price really going to drop?
I've been saying this, like, I think one of our early episodes we talked about, like, the majority of rental stock is owned by the small guys. The majority of businesses are owned by the small guy. Yet we fuck them on every turn possible,
Yeah.
and we just keep the money for the big guys to monopolize.
Yeah.
That's really it. They're handing out money if you're gonna build tons of units. It's got to be 5 units, 6 units, 10 units, 100 units, whatever. But 5 is the minimum.
Yeah.
Anything below, even though they're saying, oh, we want the missing middle, which is townhouses
Yeah.
and 3-bedroom apartments. If we're looking for that, like triplexes, etc., they're not providing funding for that. That is the most expensive, and the banks are coming after you for that in terms of how much you could borrow in for it. So they're saying, we want you to do this. Meanwhile, OSFI's saying, no, you can't. And unless you have deep pockets. And the deep pockets guys are going, well, I'm just going to build a big ass building and then control the whole thing myself.
Yeah.
So no matter what they're doing, they're coming after the small guy, and they're just transferring the wealth up to the very,
And
very
even-
small percentage.
Even if it's not coming after, that's the result.
That's the result. That's the
Right? Like
unintended
it's
consequence.
not, like I would find it hard to believe that they're there plotting like,
No.
oh, how can we screw the small guy?
Well, Rabieh
But-
would probably tell you that that's happening.
Yeah. Conspiracy hat.
Yeah.
It's not a
Listen, they're
conspiracy when it
just
gets
trying to
found
help
true.
whoever's
you
going to
know?
help their pockets. We don't have enough money to put into their pockets, so they're just they don't care.
Yeah,
about
it's just they go the most profitable way, and
Yeah.
then it ends up screwing the small guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it sounds
But
great.
I like the idea of subscribing to something that keeps hits people's credit, good and bad. Like
Well, I think it
But
keeps
that's
the
what I
same
mean.
thing.
If it's going to be even, then 110%. But right
Yeah.
now,
even
when you're
if it's
announcing a charter
optional,
of tenants'
even
rights,
if it's
not
optional,
even.
like pay in to subscribe to it, and then it's like an advertised thing on your listing. Like, hey, we're subscribed to XYZ program. If I'm a good tenant, I'm
I don't care.
going
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah, exactly.
I want it to positively
Yeah.
affect my
Yeah.
credit.
Or if I have a bad credit and I'm like, I'm trying to get this shit up.
Literally.
Yo,
Yeah.
like $2,000 rent per month for the townhouse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It will make a huge impact,
Yeah.
right?
That
Or he-
mixed with the quick turnaround for like a tenant board type thing that, okay, yeah, again, another expense, but that expense protects you, and the money you save from having somebody in there for 9 months and then doing 30K in renos,
Yeah.
that far outweighs that expense. So it's worth doing in the end
Yeah.
if you can
Yeah.
just guarantee yourself good tenants because you have this program that positively helps them build credit and you have quick turnaround for non-payment or
Yeah, honestly,
whatever the
like we
case is.
talk about all this stuff, but if you really think about all the properties we've ever rented, all the properties that we manage, all the properties that we deal with on a regular basis, our own and like our clients and everything, okay? Everything in your whole life as a real estate agent, how many big problems have we seen? Like I could count them.
I'm dealing
Yeah.
with one right now.
Yeah, I know, but like in percentage.
Literally month 1, no
Yeah.
rent.
I mean, honestly, knock on wood, I've been very lucky. My first rental property I got in 2012, and I've never had a single
No,
issue.
but I'm not saying like just your one property and then
no,
this is
but
the
I'm just
anecdote.
saying.
You're a business professional and you manage a bunch of units.
Yeah.
How many do we really deal with that are bad people, bad tenants? On the landlord side, because we're the middleman, right?
Yeah.
On the landlord side and the tenant side, how many people are you like, yo, this is weird? Like, you know, I could think of a couple here and there, but like it's not. I wouldn't say like, oh my god, 20% of
not
the
an
portfolio.
overwhelming
It's
amount.
not.
I think
It's
a
like a few
lot of it
percentage
too
points.
is like you meet the people and you can make a decision based on that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time, like people will disqualify themselves just by meeting you, doing the walkthrough. You can get the idea.
People
of-
really hate you, eh?
what?
People, what would you do at the walkthrough?
No. I mean, like from a landlord perspective.
Oh,
Like you meet them,
oh yeah.
and you can make a decision about them.
Yeah.
If this
They'll
person can't
disqualify-
take care of themselves, you're
Yeah.
not renting my property.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
You're not. I'm no way. I'm putting you in my client's property because that's their investment. Like you can do
But
that.
you have to be careful not to discriminate either, right?
No, but that's like
it's
you-
not discrimination.
No, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, you
Yeah,
have to be
yeah.
very wary.
like you can only
Yeah,
like
but it's not based on their race or anything of that nature, right? Like you.
Well, no,
it's
it may
a-
not be, but they might, try and swing that on you. Again, I've never
Bro,
had that
try and
happen
swing
to
it,
me,
prove
but-
it.
no. Like I think like I've seen other people like decline some clients for like really bad things, like
Yeah.
like very discriminatory things,
Mhm.
and they write it, and I'm like, what the hell? So remember that client that was like, they were lawyers, like
Yeah.
the worst, like
yeah, one
worst.
of them was this is
The
what I
worst.
was,
The worst
this is
people
what I was
to
talking
do
To
about.
that.
say it
But this is
to-
what I was
And
talking
in
about
writing.
earlier, and the agent put it in writing that they don't want multiple people from different families living in there.
But the way they wrote it was like weird.
It wasn't
like,
proper.
It was
Yeah.
very like it was depending on the sex, the age.
Yeah,
The
they're saying because they're
relations,
young and they're
everything
worried
you're
about
not
them
allowed to
partying.
Yeah.
discriminate
It
against.
Yeah.
doesn't. So his client like writes back like, I'm a lawyer, right? Like I could like destroy this person, like because
Yeah.
like it was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's not cool. Like
No, it wasn't, and it was so. Honestly, I would have given them my rental. Like they were young professionals.
oh,
like,
those
there's
girls
no,
are great.
there was no reason why not.
Yeah.
The income was there. The credit was decent. The only thing off was that they weren't all under the same last name. Like, but who cares?
You want to know the craziest one I've ever heard? I don't even know. It wouldn't even be discrimination, I guess. Just like outrageous reason to decline someone.
What?
They literally said to me, "Everything about your clients is good." It's actually a friend of mine, his fiance, and then his cousin. So 3 people, all young professionals. They all make good money. All have good credit.
Yeah.
Anyways, the guy goes, "Yeah, everything looks good, but we're not going to accept it because they work from home." I'm like, "What?"
They work from home.
That was the reason that.
What are they
declined
paying
it.
for utilities?
Yeah.
Is the landlord paying for
No,
utilities
no,
or
no,
the
no.
tenant?
The tenant.
Okay.
Like it's
So-
a townhouse.
So
in
what the fuck
Bargain.
is their problem then?
That's what I said. I'm like,
Like,
you're not
What, are they
serious.
worried about wear and tear or something because they're working from home? I don't understand.
Like,
No, like if it's like okay, the landlord pays heating and the hydro.
okay,
I'd
then
be like,
the
okay,
bill's
then-
gonna
But
be
even
But-
heating, the heating
yeah.
level is going to stay the same in the house. I guess hydro would be more used up more, but
Yeah.
heating levels wouldn't change. But
Yeah, because it's not like you're turning it down when
No.
you leave. Anyways, yeah, that was the most outrageous shit I ever heard.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it was something more discriminatory behind the scenes that
And
was
they just used
kind
that
of
as
the
the
reason that
excuse.
they threw out
That's
there.
so weird.
But it was
Yeah.
outrageous. And I talked to the other realtor. As soon as I read it, I called him. I'm like,
You
what?
got mistake.
Yeah, like what the actual hell are you talking about?
yeah,
And he goes, "Listen, man, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I was just told to tell you that. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me."
yeah.
So even his own realtor was like, "Oh, like
That's so weird.
this." Yeah. Anyways, he was
Yeah.
telling him to take it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get back to overcorrecting. Like governments tend to overcorrect. Okay. Builders tend to overcorrect. A lot of businesses tend to overcorrect. Organizations in general. So what that means is there's a problem and we weren't doing anything, and then all of a sudden we go mayhem and we do too much of
They
it.
wait till it's a huge problem.
So right now, Ontario, for instance, has pretty good tenancy laws. Quebec has more strict laws. BC is implementing some new ones, but they're okay. Okay. Anyways, what Trudeau's doing now is just overcorrecting. He's hearing these like little things, and he's all for the millennial, because I think he's like the minister of millennial, or remember something like
I don't know,
some like weird name that he gave himself.
No. Claim
it.
More weird things that he's doing.
Yeah, so he's advocating for them or something. I think that's the first time he does. So by overcorrecting the social issues, the tenancy issue, for instance, is one of them. You're gonna have unintended consequences, and the unintended consequences tend to be, well, if I think that the tenant is not going to eventually pay, I am going to be very selective on my tenancy, and I'm going to keep the property vacant for longer, and that also adds more to the issue. The second thing is maintenance. Well, these tenants are not paying top dollar. I don't have any cash, and I'm not allowed to raise the rent or by just a very small amount, so I can't come up with savings to put into this place, and then so the homes become more dilapidated, and they're like, ugly. They're not painted on there. Nothing major, but it just becomes uglier and uglier. And then you start to have unintended consequences of this neighborhood becomes poorer and poorer, and it starts to attract lower rents and lower affordability. And then now you ghettoize the whole community.
Because the people that want to pay top dollar want a nice place.
Want a nice place.
Do it.
Yeah, and this is not upkept. This is not anything, right?
I think that already happens in a sense, especially in the terms of holding the property vacant for longer, because like landlords are so strict on what they're doing. So I think that we already see that in our day to day when we're dealing with landlords, and even as their representatives, obviously we're the voice of reason. Like, hey,
we try to be at least.
Yeah, exactly. People make their own decisions,
but they're not giving the tools to anybody to do anything properly. The reason why Airbnb got popular on the long-term side is that landlords are scared. Mm-hmm. And so people are taking up to Airbnb and saying, well, your short-term rental, even if it's for like 10 months, you're still a short-term tenant. And then so if you don't pay, you're out. Mm-hmm. That's all they want. And then if the tenant has some rights, because if they don't get what's promised as per the Airbnb, you get bad reviews. Airbnb kicks you off the platform. Yeah. There are consequences for that.
Yeah.
Right? So I actually think that is a fantastic mechanism to abide by all the rules on both sides. But the negatives, like you could do it this way, just through a platform to keep everybody honest, rather than come up with all these brand new rules. Like I think that's more of a solution.
They're maybe over choking it.
Exactly, overcorrecting it when it could be a very simple solution.
Yeah, but maybe it's one of those things where they're in too deep, so to backtrack, they don't want to look like idiots.
Well, but saying, hey, everybody go on Airbnb is not going to sound very good for political purposes.
Yeah.
Right?
But neither does, hey, we just fucked this whole thing up, we need to restart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I think there's more respect from people if you admit that shit got out of hand and we got to figure out a way to correct it. This is how we're going to correct it.
No, I feel like Doug Ford
politics, they're all about respect.
No, but Doug Ford does do that shit.
He'll come out and say, I made a mistake.
Yeah, during COVID, he actually did.
Yeah.
Doug Ford did. Yeah. Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Him, Thanks for the support,
maybe
guys.
He did, maybe he did, but like he'll say it in one end and then fuck you in the other. So,
spring market. You want to go back to that since we only have a few minutes left?
Are we doing like a Star Wars thing where we start at the end?
Yeah.
Go back to the beginning.
Jump back to the
He's never watched Star Wars.
I only watched one on the airplane, so I didn't
thought you were a
finish it.
nerd, bro.
Which one did you watch?
But like smart nerd.
No, you gotta watch Star Wars, man.
I don't know. They're on some planet. And there's like a guy that
brother.
That's
What?
They're like a monkey. And
it's gonna piss me off. Let's move on.
It was like
Have you watched Star Wars?
Skywalker.
Of course.
Yeah, okay, I'm
Like
just
all of
asking.
them.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch them growing up. I wasn't a big fan, and then at one point I had too much time on my hands, and I went back and I watched them all in sequence of when they were released.
So you weren't a big fan, but now you're the only fan.
Dude, this guy just wants an OnlyFans account. That's
I know.
crazy.
It's a good series. You should check it out, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Apparently, the director is one of the richest in the filmmaker, like $5.8 billion.
Is that
That
true?
makes sense.
That's crazy.
$5
Yeah.
billion, right? Yeah.
That's with a B.
Yeah.
Even Spielberg is like $2 billion or something.
With
Well,
a
just
B.
there's just a cult
With a B.
following of this series, right? And so when they released,
That's nuts.
because they were made first in the 80s, I think, and then they released
Imagine we had a
another
cult
trilogy
following.
in the 90s, early 2000s, something like that. And like it was just, there was so much hype behind it. Like I remember having a friend in school that his parents took his whole family out of school early that day
To go see
on the
it.
release date to go watch Star Wars when it dropped.
Yo,
Like that's how big it was.
we didn't
so.
have that type of money.
No.
For all of us to go to the movies.
No.
I'm joking. Okay, so spring market. So if Elliott could just focus a little bit.
Yeah,
on
I'm
us,
so
like,
sorry.
Is it? Are you getting an offer or something?
No, go on.
Yeah.
So spring market. You were saying essentially we want rates to come down, but slowly.
I want it later. Wait till after summer. And then I personally,
To hype up the fall, essentially.
no, because I want them to do little decrease and then hold,
Yeah.
then decrease.
What he's
then
saying is if
hold.
they drop the rates too quickly, then we're going to have a huge influx of people jumping into the game and overbidding again in the whole bidding war
Yeah,
situation.
I think if you do it lower hold, you're gonna let the people waiting in incrementally instead of all
Yeah.
at
Yes,
once.
exactly.
and we just need
because-
some consistency in it too, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, I agree with you. Yeah, I like that.
Wow, that is a
Because
first.
right now rates have slowly started to come down.
Jawan,
right?
clip it.
I agree with you.
But the rates, like we said, the fixed rates started to come down,
yeah.
Yeah.
but not like a
But
huge
the
amount.
majority of people don't track that, right? Like a majority of people are just waiting.
But my
to
point
see
is,
the
you're
headline.
slowly seeing people buy. It's not like a huge influx. Like if
Mhm.
the
I
variable
think it's more
rate dropped
consistent too.
quickly, then
Yeah.
everyone would be jumping in.
Mhm.
But I think it's the slow, the steady way is the best way to go. Just
Yeah, I agree.
keep it steady.
I think if you wait till after summer, the other factor that comes into play is time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And some people will just be like, you know what, fuck, I don't want to move in the winter. I'll wait. So you'll have people coming in, yes, and we'll have a busier fall.
No,
than
you'll have a
maybe
busy
usual.
ass Christmas too.
And a busier Christmas, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna be ridiculous.
I wanted to go to Dubai this winter, if I can't talk.
pick a season, my boy.
All of it. I want.
He's actually just
Just wants
moving
to
to
leave.
Dubai.
But you guys find that we have a little bit less inventory right now on the market than we had
Yeah.
like a month or
I
two
feel it's
ago.
like the same house I keep seeing all the
I
time.
feel like a lot of people are holding on to that belief that the rates are going to drop and then the prices are going to pop off.
Yep,
So they're holding off on putting their properties on the market too.
absolutely.
But look, if the guy is selling and buying in the same market, then that's
Said it
really
1,000 times.
Yeah,
It's
I-
irrelevant.
Yeah.
I know.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah,
I'm not saying about relevancy. I'm just making.
but
note of
still,
what's
people are
happening.
still thinking that.
Yeah, but you also have people that, like we said earlier, are getting squeezed out. They
Yeah.
have to sell.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
I
think
think there's
that
enough-
it's just balancing itself out.
Like
kind of thing.
right now, per se, what are we? First week of April.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty normal. Like it's back to like I feel like it's a normal back and forth, normal buy sell. Like it's not like it's not very quick,
it's not
but it's
extreme
not
on one
like
end or
it's,
the other.
yeah, it's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's well. Like I feel like it's nicely balanced. You know, sometimes we're able to go in multiple bids for the sellers. Sometimes we're getting great deals for the buyers. I think it's.
I think it depends how
on the
aggressive
property.
you go with the pricing, right? Like I think
Yeah.
if you're priced correctly, you'll sell probably in like a month kind of time frame.
Yeah.
3 to 4 weeks kind of thing.
Yeah, I think.
And I think that's normal.
Yeah.
And then if you go aggressive, you'll sell quicker in multiple offers
Yeah.
situation. But if you go too aggressive, you're not going to get market value. So like if you go too far under, yeah, you'll get the multiple offers, you'll get the over asking,
Yeah.
and you'll get to flex it on the Instagram as they do. But you but you won't.
See how it all just droop down.
There's nothing to droop, bro. There's nothing to droop.
Need some
It's like
calcium,
one
my
of
boy.
those cartoons where
Yeah, exactly.
But if you go
you
too
price it
aggressive,
right.
you're not actually gonna get what you could have got if you just priced it right.
Sometimes you actually
well,
get
no,
a lot
because now
less.
you're hitting a market of people who are in such a lower price point
Yeah.
that they want to actually go under ask because
Yeah.
they're like, well, at this price point, everything else is going under ask,
Mhm.
but you've just undervalued your home at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to have a good realtor
Yeah,
who knows the market.
from Lotful Realty.
Exactly.
Bam.
Bam.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining another episode of Broadcast Millionaires.
This guy wants to stop talking early. That's
a very
crazy-
I know it's a first for Omar. Well, he just took over. He wants to be the one to finish it off. He's got like
finish
5
it.
minutes of talking on his own.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Don't worry.
And what is love? It's lots of having and giving and giving. And did you guys watch that episode of Friends?
No.
Oh my God, is Joey doing when he was going to do his toast?
I was never a really big guy on Friends.
So
I was
you'd
more
rather-
of a Seinfeld.
Okay, no,
I don't really
Seinfeld's
have
good.
any friends.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
No, it's a show.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay. Holy shit, man.
Did you watch Arthur? Yeah, you're probably watching Arthur, right? Every day when you're walking down.
Yeah. What animal is he? Like a
Rabbit?
Is a rat, isn't he?
Rat
He's
or
not a
rabbit?
rabbit, my boy. The,
What is he?
The
No,
white
his friend-
character.
his friend is a
His
rabbit.
friend's a
Yeah.
rabbit. How is he a rabbit?
What is he?
I don't know.
I don't know.
A what?
Arkvar?
What's an Arkvar?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. I'm doing a.
An
Oh, an
anteater.
ant.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, that could make sense.
How does Jacob know Arkvar?
I have no clue.
That's nuts.
He's an animal enthusiast.
Yeah.
How did we even get on Arthur?
Because he doesn't know
Oh,
friends,
Friends.
but because he's like 12 years old.
He was basically calling me a kid. I get it.
Are we just gonna wait here in silence?
Arthur was
until you
probably
find-
after his time, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With how young he is.
Did you watch Dragon Ball Z?
Yo, Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
is the bomb. Bro. I still watch Dragon Ball Z.
Goku's like my boy.
Yeah.
So I searched up Arthur cartoon, and like the second thing that comes up is what animal is Arthur?
Oh yeah.
Because they're listening to us. They know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yo,
but-
by the way, did you see in the States they're banning? Was it Texas? They're banning.
California.
Was it California?
I think it's California. They're banning social media for kids under 14.
Oh no, I didn't see that. Wow,
Florida.
Oh, okay. So, was it
Florida?
Okay.
Did you talk about it on Down to the Wire? Okay.
So Jacob says it's in Florida that they're banning, and then
Yeah.
the Ontario's teachers are the schools actually are suing TikTok and Facebook
Okay.
for misguiding the students, and then there's unintended consequence, which is harder to control, and we need like more social assistance and whatnot as a
Okay.
result of social media.
I mean,
They're
why don't-
suing them.
So
They're
why
in
don't we
court.
sue the government and mainstream media for doing the same thing?
We should. Absolutely.
You know?
Okay, but what I was gonna say in the States, I think it was Texas,
Mhm.
they banned chemtrails in the
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fuck.
yes.
and then the same article says, well, there's no proof that chemtrails are actually happening, but there's a lot of conspiracy about that, those lines in the air. So then
Yeah.
Texas come out and said, if we catch you doing it, you're gonna get fined or
Yeah.
whatever.
Even if you're the government.
no, the government could do whatever.
Well, no,
they
they'll
want.
just hide it and lie. That's what they
How are
always
they gonna
do.
catch them if it's the government? Catch themselves.
Yeah. Catch me if
It's
you
like a
can.
dog catching its own tail. Like it just
Yeah.
It's not
Like
gonna
it's
happen.
pretending to do it, but
Yeah.
never
But
actually.
yeah,
It's
back
really
to
not-
Florida.
yeah.
So they banned social media for kids 14 or younger. And if they're caught using social media, their parents will be fined.
what?
Yeah.
How? So what? They're just gonna have people walking around looking at kids' phones while they're
No,
on
man,
it.
but they're going to go online. And if there's kids, I don't know how
What's
they're
the
going to track
find
it.
of social media? Like just the big guys, or like even
I
like?
think like TikToks, Snapchats, Instagrams, all that shit.
But they're gonna come up with another app.
I don't know, but they're gonna ban it all.
That's
Basically saying
interesting.
Banned. I don't think it's a bad idea, man.
Yeah, I think So
No,
this
I
is
agree.
this is the
At that
overcorrecting
young
though.
age.
This is overcorrecting. You gotta take a huge step back and then
Yeah.
start to release it bit by
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, but they're gonna have. You ever like looked at some kids and like you could see like TikTok brain?
I've never heard
crazy.
about that.
It's crazy. I see people our age that have TikTok
Yeah.
brain.
Like what? They should start going like like stupid dances. Like
No, it's outrageous. It's outrageous. I don't think it's a bad thing. They're actually glued to their phones.
Yeah, no, I
am
think
too,
it's really
but
bad.
It happens.
a few years ago, I went to over to a buddy's house, and he's like, "Oh, my kid's birthday," and just has a few friends over for his birthday. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I'm expecting to see like they're all like 8, 10 years old kind of thing. I'm
They're running
expecting-
around playing tag.
Yeah, like punching each other, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like what boys would do at that age.
yeah,
You know, they're all around the couch, and then the TV's on. They're all on their iPads.
crazy.
Oh my gosh,
Nobody's
Wow.
talking.
crazy.
Wow.
Nobody's talking.
that's
Yeah.
horrible.
Us, when we were kids, I was like lost in the forest. I had no clue where
Yeah.
I was. I was
Yeah.
like climbing to
We're out
and
and
stuff.
about playing all different. I played street hockey when I was a kid.
Yeah.
What do I know about hockey?
My
Nothing.
mom would be
I'm
begging me to
street
come back
hockey.
home. You know?
Yeah,
I feel like I was just before that craziness.
yeah.
Are we crazy or the kids like the
No,
No,
the
like
iPod
like
craziness.
like social media came out when I was I don't know, like
2,
middle
4.
school, like it was serious, like
Yeah.
Instagram and whatever.
Yeah.
But like
Well,
when I
was
was
Instagram. That's what you consider. Like I was in high school. I
yeah,
think, when
Facebook is
came
for
out.
old people, bro.
Facebook, I was in university.
So we had this thing called P-Base. I don't know if you remember P-Base. No,
P-Base?
Who?
No, no.
P-Base. It was this like platform where you could just basically like create a URL and just post pictures of yourselves, your friends, and whatever.
Oh,
Nice.
MSN had that. What's it called?
Did MSN have that? I don't remember.
They had one like that. It was
Do
like,
you know MSN, Elliott?
Yeah, I used
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about ICQ?
yeah.
No.
No, you don't know ICQ.
MySpace never used. I heard of it, but
It was like
MySpace. I never used MySpace.
MySpace.
that was
what it
the MSN version.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of
MSN.
like a MySpace, but this was before MySpace. It's called P-Base. Something like that.
and it's just a URL, and you put like
Yeah.
Is it like
it was
you
like
put your nudes there, so
pbase.com
it's like
slash whatever,
It's like the
then-
old version of Snapchat.
No, it was
It
like
was
a
before.
Facebook.
It was like a MySpace or a Facebook, but it was just like a web page, and so you could have folders of just like your pictures, and people could comment and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you didn't get paid for it like OnlyFans.
No.
No, Rabieh, nobody pays him for anything.
No, there wasn't a subscription or anything. You don't have to sign in. You could literally, if you had someone's URL, you could just search it up and see their pictures.
And like
Oh,
Yahoo,
was just like
their
that way.
URL is
Yeah.
their page.
Yeah.
yeah, just
yeah.
the website.
I
Yeah.
see. I totally
Pbase.com was
miscalculated
like
that
the
whole
website,
thing.
and then the slash, and you put whatever your
And like
Yeah.
like Yahoo chats and
yeah.
and MSN. No, Yahoo chats mainly. Like you would just have like a username and
Yeah.
you would go and join a room,
Yeah.
Mm.
and
chat.
then you just
What
chat.
kind of
People
rooms
were
were
just
you in?
and just people talking. I was, my name was you know what my name was
What was your name?
Romeo. Romeo, and then I switched it. I was
Why am I
I,
not
what,
surprised?
Juliet?
no, I switched. I thought I was clever. I switched it to Ramo.
Ramo.
My name
Omar.
backwards. And then
Oh,
I'm just yeah, I'm like 21.
Honestly, I'm not surprised by the Romeo though. Honestly, like as funny as it is, I'm not surprised you did it because you seem like that guy.
Yeah, but my brother would be like, "What are you doing?" He's like younger, and then I'm like, "I don't know." I'm just like chat. I'm like, "This is hilarious."
Interesting.
They should ban this shit from kids, bro.
100%. 100%.
They should totally ban.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well,
guys.
again, thank you guys for joining another
what
episode.
is this?
What is this? Like 13?
Oh, I have no clue, man. We
Actually,
lost
Zach,
count.
Zach was
11.
11.
Because
So
he
this
got
yeah.
he was on season 11, got
Yeah.
kicked out on episode
Yeah.
11. That
So
Yeah.
was
this is 12 then.
So this is 12.
that was our
Yeah.
last one.
Yeah. We've been slacking.
Damn.
Yeah.
Where were you?
No
last
wonder I
month,
miss
bro?
Jacob so much.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No wonder Jacob was in a good mood seeing us today.
Last time he wasn't.
No.
Are we keeping this in the episode or are we cutting this out?
Whatever.
We can keep it in.
We can do whatever we want.
Like, can we talk about Jacob for another hour? Or
We could. We should do this.
Yeah, but
I don't want to pay for that hour.
Yeah,
talking
Jacob.
shit.
No,
He's
Ja-
like, well,
Jacob
like-
doesn't want to sit here for another hour.
Yeah, but what if we're talking shit about him? Does you think
Talking shit about him?
Yeah.
Brother, he's double charging.
Is it?
That invoice just went up, my boy.
Yeah, sending it right to you, bro.
Okay,
Okay, guys.
thanks for watching.
Thank
It was good.
Bam.
Bam.
Bam.